Hey everybody, Matt, Power Sports Memorabilia. Hey, so today I kind of had a little flashback, I guess you could say. I don't know if you ever have those things when you're just kind of driving around and a situation pops up and you're not really kind of quite sure where it came from. This was one of those situations that just kind of flashed back at me, and I was kind of. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then, but it's pretty funny now. So. It involves a LeBron James autographed jersey, and this situation happened about 9-10 years ago. I was just getting started out in my business, so I had literally about maybe 3 customers. 5 would be great. 3 is probably more realistic. So I had very little customers and almost zero revenue. So just getting out started, and was doing a little bit of selling on eBay at the time, and had a guy that was interested in a LeBron James jersey that I had posted on there. And at this time, they were probably selling for maybe $800 to $1,000, maybe kind of around that range. And the guy was from Canada, and he was messaging me, just asking about the jersey, and we talked for a little bit, and he bought the jersey at whatever the price was listed for. And so I had to go get it from Upper Deck, and at that time, you could actually buy direct from Upper Deck, and nowadays you can't do that. So it was, man, I wish we had those days back, man. You could buy Jordan jerseys and anything you wanted. So anyway, so I bought it from Upper Deck, and this guy was kind of I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, inquisitive, I think is the word. During this whole exchange, we must have had, I kid you not, at least 100 emails back and forth about this jersey. I mean, just every little detail. And, like I said, I was young and just getting started, and I really, just like every situation, but I really overly wanted to please for this guy, because I had, 4 or 5 feedback on eBay, and I wanted to make sure that he was happy. It was an expensive item, and I wanted to make sure that I communicated every single step of the way for him. So it all started when I ordered it from Upper Deck, and he asked me to send him the tracking number on me getting the jersey from Upper Deck, which I thought that was kind of weird, but I was like, okay, well, that's fine. So I sent him the tracking number. And the reason why I had to get it was, at the time, Upper Deck was not shipping to Canada for some odd reason. So they had to ship it to me, and then I had to ship it to the customer. So it took a couple days. It wasn't very long. It was probably 3 or 4 days from Vegas I got it. And let the customer know, hey, got your jersey in, send him some pictures, send him the authentication and the whole 9 yards, and he's pleased, he's happy. He would always respond back and forth very, very quickly. And I guess I should mention his feedback on eBay was not very much. It was probably about the same as mine, probably 6. And I remember his seller name was like UDA something, and it was kind of something along those lines. And his email was the same thing like that. So I just kind of assumed he bought Upper Deck stuff. So it just kind of seemed interesting. So. Anyway, got the jersey, sent him pictures. We're all cool, everything's going good, and I'm getting ready to go ship it off to him. And he had a very specific request that I remember, and the request was that I send it first class mail, so he didn't have to pay customs. Okay, now at this time, first class mail didn't have delivery confirmation, from what I remember, to Canada. I didn't know that when I shipped it. But I believe that was what the case was. But nowadays you can ship stuff to Canada and get delivery confirmation on first class mail. So that's super cool and super cheap. So he made the request for first class mail. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. However you want to do it, And I went down to the post office because I didn't know how to print shipping labels at home, and get the jersey in and pack it up, put it in a box for him, and tell the guy I want first class mail. And I believe I insured it, which I actually did that somewhat smart, but it actually didn't help me at all. And sent it off to the guy, first class mail, and I didn't really get if I remember correctly, I didn't get a tracking number. It was more like a parcel number, some sort of receipt that says that you got the tracking, or you did the order with the post office, and it wasn't an actual tracking number per se, like a customs form or something. So totally useless, totally freaking useless. And so I get back to the house, send him the guy a picture of the receipt with the tracking number, and he writes, thank you very much, cool. And then literally, I kid you not, within 5 minutes of me sending him that, the guy files a claim on eBay. I think it was through eBay he did it, and claiming non-delivery or whatever it is, and I went back to the guy. I was like, why did you open this case up? And he responded back, and he's like, well, it just kind of took so long for me to get the jersey. And I was like, we've been talking literally every day, multiple times a day. Like, you knew the situation. And obviously he had just planned on doing that the whole time, So of course at this time, I'm kind of SOL. I go back down to the post office, try to get my package back. It's gone or whatever it is. So I'm kind of SOL at this point. And so it's $800-900 jersey here. So I'm like, all right, let's just play this out. Let's see what happens. Maybe it'll show delivered and I'll be okay. And so I'm going out to California back to see my family. So I'm just kind of thinking about this thing the whole trip, and I'm following it. It gets to the Canadian border, all's good, and then once it gets to the Canadian border, it's gone. Right? Nothing scanned, no tracking, nothing. And so I'm getting a little worried at this point, I'll be $800-900 in the hole, and so I'm trying to figure out, okay, where does this guy live? And I'm Googling his address and all this kind of stuff, and then I call Canada Post. I'm like, hey, where does this guy get his mail at? And apparently at this time he was getting his mail delivered to like a convenience store almost. Like I guess in Canada, and I don't know the exact details on this, but you can have your stuff delivered it's almost like a P.O. box here, but it was like a convenience store there, like a 7-Eleven almost, which was totally bizarre. So I'm calling up to this place, and I think the guy's name was Kevin or something, and I'm asking, hey, does Kevin so-and-so get his mail here? He goes, oh, yeah, he gets stuff here all the time. I was like, oh, okay, cool, interesting. Do you know if he got this particular package? And I describe it to him and tell him that little number I have from the post office, and he's like, nah, I don't remember anything like that coming in. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe he just hasn't gotten there yet or whatever. And so I've called this guy like probably for 7 or 10 days now. And by this time, I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to be getting this thing in my favor. And of course, I've got, 2 weeks or so to kind of prove my case or something like that. And of course, I couldn't provide a tracking number that showed that it was delivered or at least in transit in Canada or something like that. So, of course, eBay gives him his money back, and I have no idea if this guy even got the jersey or whatnot. I can only assume based off of his actions that, he was kind of planning this deal the whole time, and I was being naive and dumb back then. And, what's nice about now is when you send stuff to Canada, at least when I do now, important stuff like a LeBron James jersey, you can send it by UPS, and you can do a signature required. And yeah, the people in Canada got to pay customs, but you know what, man, I sleep better at night knowing that, I'm doing myself a justice, but also doing my customer a justice too, that I'm doing a signature required on an expensive item, so it's not just sitting on his porch. Heck, I had one guy said he had one stolen off his porch not too long ago, whoever has that happen, I don't know. I guess it does happen, but it just hasn't been my experience, So anyways, the guy got his money back, and I talked to the guy afterwards. He said he never got it, so I guess I can just take his word for it, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case, so. I actually tried following up with him, ironically enough, from a different email address, and asked him, hey, I heard you sell Upper Deck stuff. He goes, yeah, I do. He said, did you have a LeBron James jersey? And he said he didn't. So, maybe he kind of figured something was up, or maybe he never did get it. So, I don't know, man, but basically it was stolen from me, and it's my own darn fault, so that's okay. I learned from it, and it's something I can reflect back on to the time of, and it kind of brings me back to the infancy of the business, which is kind of really interesting, and not the struggle, but like just the getting started and not having any customers and not having any revenue, and it was just kind of like a fond memory, I guess we could say. So anyway, that's my LeBron James story of how I got stolen. Never did hear anything back from that guy again, so it's gone. But anyway, we move on, and I don't dwell on it anymore, and it's just kind of a cool story. So thought I'd share that with you guys. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of it. The video kind of went a little longer than I thought it would. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and I should be doing some more stories. I got a bunch more, including some Willie Mays stories that we'll be putting out there, and some funny ones. Man, Willie's a character. So if you guys like this stuff, let me know.